Guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I did one of these sit down chat videos, but I'm doing one today. That's so YouTube of me, isn't it? To like I haven't just sat down and talked to you. So I'm going to talk to you today about my top 5 travel fails of this year, mostly of the summer, the July-August period where I was traveling quite a lot. Because it wasn't all rosy, and I haven't actually gone in depth into how many struggles I had, which were many. It was not at all a picture perfect trip, as most would assume. Travel fail or struggle number 1 is that dumbass visa struggle. Dude, seriously? If you don't know the whole story of how I got my Schengen visa to go to Europe as well as my US visa to visit the US, that actually wasn't the bad one, surprisingly so. But yeah, I went through a whole bunch of hoops and ridiculous struggles just to get a visa, which lasted 40 days. And I'm going to just stop you right there for anybody who's going to say, oh, you know, it's for safety, it's to curb immigration. If that's the case, then why shouldn't it apply to everybody equally and not just citizens of certain countries? You know what I'm saying? An Australian can enter Italy and run out of money or shoot up a supermarket or whatever just as much as me. We are equally likely to do that kind of thing. So that excuse doesn't fly. This was a bullshit struggle. Strike number 1. Travel fail number 2 is not letting my bank know in advance that I was going to be out of the country and using my card. This is such a rookie mistake and it can land you in so much shit. And I only remembered this after I had left. I hadn't left Johannesburg yet, but I was on my way out and I'm trying to call the bank and it was after hours, so there are no call center agents. So I leave Johannesburg and I have my layover in Abu Dhabi. My cell phone doesn't work there. I haven't quite figured out roaming. I don't think I ever really did. So I spent my first few hours in Venice in a panic, what if they block my card because it's suddenly being used in some other continent. Luckily for me, they didn't, and I was able to draw cash, no problem, make purchases also with my card. But that is possibly because I travel with my card when I go home from university from South Africa to Kenya. So do not risk it. Call your bank a week or 2 before you're leaving. Tell them where you're going, how long you're going to be away, and not to block your card because you need it. So don't get caught with that. Actually, I'm going to add on to that and say travel fail number 2.5 or 2.1 or whatever was having very little emergency prep. I wasn't able to apply in time for a credit card. That's a whole other whole thing with only being in South Africa on a study permit. I didn't qualify for one, so I didn't have a credit card for emergencies. I had all my money on my one bank card in my one account. So had I been blocked or had I lost that card or damaged it, I would have been fucked. I would have been screwed. And just generally no emergency prep for traveling alone. I mean, I had heard, people maybe in parts of, especially Italy, everybody knows Italian men have no chill. So, just kidding, kind of. Walking around with a fake wedding ring just so a man would leave you alone, walking with a rape whistle or some kind of pepper spray. I didn't get any of that, even though I thought, I'll probably get pepper spray or something, but I didn't end up going with any of that, which is fine. I mean, I didn't run into any issues, but it might help you. It might, at the very least, put your mind at ease to have those measures in place just in case of anything. So maybe don't risk it like me. And finally, my last money-related travel fail is number 3, not saving early enough. Listen to me, it is never too early to save. It is never too early to save. You decide you're going on this trip and you get going. You save on the day that you decide, you start saving that day. You put money aside. If you're getting a salary that month, you take out of that salary and you put it in a separate account or just separate from your normal money. It is never ever too early because you'll never have too much money for your trip, or for many people like me, you'll never have enough. I never feel that was enough. I saved enough and I did everything I wanted to do. I tried all the meals I wanted to try. I've never said that about any trip, near or far. I never have enough. So, try not to limit yourself. I mean, rather try and limit yourself now so that you can do everything you want to do later. In this case, when I was going to Europe and I was saving for probably 4 or 5 months to the time before is when I really started actually separating money for the trip. I shouldn't have done that. I should have started earlier because in the year, say I left in June, end of June, I only really started saving January, February. for the whole of the beginning of 2016, work was very slow. I did a lot of work as a freelance writer, but there are no guarantees. So I'd made a lot less than I thought I would, and closer to the time of me leaving, I had to now find other avenues of making money or putting away money for my trip, okay? So, I mean, I made it out in the end, and I generally did okay, but I did have to end up asking my parents for help because I didn't save early. That is money that I actually made, but I wasn't strict on myself in saving it more than 6 months in advance. So save now, right now. Travel fail number 4, my Couchsurfing host just bailed. Bailed. So let me tell you what happened. So I was halfway through my trip, going from Nice to Barcelona, and I decided, okay, I'm coming to the end of my trip. Let me sort something out for Barcelona. I put out a public post on Couchsurfing. If you're not sure how it works, you can put on a public post on Couchsurfing, either saying, hey, I'm coming to this city. Does anybody want to meet up? Or what's happening? Is anything cool? Any events? Or can you give me advice? Should I go here? Or you can ask for a host on top of all of that. So I just said, I'll be in Barcelona for probably the week. Does anybody want to hang out? What's happening? Also, if anybody's able to host me, that would be great too. Cool. So I get a couple of different offers. I accept the first one from a girl, Laura. Hola, Laura. And I stayed with her for my first weekend. I got a different offer after I had already accepted Laura's, saying, hey, you can stay at my house. I have a good apartment in the kind of the city center. So come around. So of course I'm checking references and I'm looking like, okay, these both look like good people. How about I stay with Laura for the weekend, and then thereafter from I think it was Tuesday onwards, I will stay with host number 2. Cool, fine. I get to Barcelona. You can watch that vlog over here. I stay with Laura for the weekend. Cool times, fun, everything's cool. This guy, since I have left Nice, has not answered to any of my messages. This guy just ghosted. Like, where is he? Where? Show me where. So I didn't hear from him. It comes to, I think, Monday night, Tuesdays when I was leaving Laura's place. I haven't heard anything. So I had to now backtrack and rearrange my budget. Luckily, I had just been paid for some of my work in June. It was beginning of July. So I had some little extra money. I found an Airbnb. But the issue was it's the middle of summer in Barcelona. It was very difficult to find something well priced in a good kind of area, decent accommodation. I found an Airbnb, was only able to stay there for one night. That's all the room they had. Found a perfect hostel, Plaza Catalunya hostel, and just around the corner from Plaza Catalunya. They also had one night available. I had 3 more nights that I was staying in Barcelona. I ended up bobbing around, 1 night here, 2 nights there. And such was the fail of my end of Barcelona. I was wheeling around bags almost every morning because nobody had room for more than 1 night. So it happens sometimes. I have no advice for you actually. Travel fail number 4 was wheeling around a suitcase. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of myself with what luggage I had. I had my trusty rucksack with me and a really small suitcase, but it was not quite small enough to be cabin luggage, to be a carry-on. So whenever I was on a flight, which is actually only going in and out of Europe and then once between Nice and Barcelona, I had to check it in because it was too big to be my hand luggage. That wasn't too much of an issue. It was really nice, hard case, 4 wheels that made it really easy to lug around wherever I was going. I did a lot of walking between say where I was staying at a train station or an airport or whatever. So that wasn't too bad. The issue was that I had to check it in, and it actually cost quite a lot of extra money. Like I was saying, between Nice and Barcelona, I was able to get a flight probably the day before. I don't know why I was doing this actually. I booked my flight the day before, Nice to Barcelona on Vueling. Guys, I mean, that's a whole other story. If you know all about Vueling, then comment below and tell everybody what you know about Vueling, okay? But the ticket itself, I think, was about 50 or 60 euro. But because I had a bag to check in, it went all the way up to 100 euro. Just because of that bag, one-way flight. I could have saved all that money. Again, I could have booked an Airbnb or a hostel earlier when Mr. Couchsurfing host had ghosted. But because I spent this extra 40 euro, which is you can do a lot with that money, man. That could have been probably the remainder of my week in accommodation or like an extra meal or two, like, so just that was a little bit of a mess up on my part. Also, the second thing is whenever I had a layover, particularly my really long one, if you'll remember, this is a lot of backlinks, but these are all stories that I'm just adding onto. So my transit vlog, which is 60 hours in transit, which is how long it took for me to get to my house in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, to my hostel in Venice, Italy, that took 60 hours. So within that, there was a 20-hour layover in Abu Dhabi, and I had checked in my suitcase, my little main bag, with all my toiletries. So even though I found showers and I was able to shower, I didn't quite have like my toiletries. I had maybe a little bit of makeup. I think I did have a change of underwear and clothes, but that's it. I didn't have my towel, for example. So, you get separated from your stuff, and it's obviously more likely that your luggage gets lost or rerouted or whatever, depending on the airline that you're at. So, there's this like added risk, added cost, a little bit of added hassle. So if you can, I will try next time. I don't own a proper backpack, but I would say if you're going to take a similar kind of trip, I would invest in a backpack, because it also forces you to pack less and not pack any unnecessary stuff, because you're carrying it on you. You don't want to damage your back, right? So wheeling around a suitcase, didn't kill me, but I would try and maybe avoid it next time. Oh, and I have a bonus one for you, okay? Travel fail number 6, or bonus travel fail. Listen, okay? Before you judge me, this happens to the best of us, but let me tell you the story, right? So, the reason that I was in San Francisco was it was a family visit, but I had to come back after not that long, like just under 2 weeks, because I had school in South Africa. So, flying back, I came back on my own, right? So, on the day I'm supposed to be leaving San Francisco, I have an afternoon flight. Perfect, no worries. Wake up, have a nice day with the kids, with the family. Everything's cool. My cousin is supposed to come around, pick me up, and drop me off at the airport, which is about a half-hour drive away from my aunt's house. Right? So cool. Everything's fine. I'm all packed, and I'm sitting on my aunt's dining table on my laptop, doing a little work here and there, checking in, seeing everything's fine. I had an overnight layover in Dubai, checking everything's fine with my transit visa or whatever. Everything's up to date. Okay, I have my passport out because I needed to key in some kind of passport details. I do that fine. Put my passport down, go back to whatever I'm doing. A glass of wine here. I'm eating like yesterday's pasta. Everything's cool. My cousin comes over. He's even a bit late, and I'm like, bro, I've been waiting. Okay, I have been waiting. Anyway, let's go. I hug and kiss my niece and nephew. Time to go. Fine. I go. I'm halfway to the car. I even run back and grab a jacket that I had left on the bed. Now I'm really ready. Cool. We get in. My cousin and I chatting in the car, chilling. Saturday early afternoon. It's a half-hour drive, no traffic. Everything's fine. I get to this airport and I have this ugly feeling in my gut. I have this ugly feeling like, do I even have my passport? Because I kind of browsed through my bag in the car and I was like, yeah, I don't see it, but like, I obviously didn't need my passport. Like, come on. So I look through and I'm like, I know exactly where my passport is. It's in the house. I call the house. A different cousin of mine is at the house and I'm like, can you just look at the chair that's tucked in at the dining table? Is my little plastic bag that I have my documents in, is it there? And he's like, yep, you've left it here. I had put it on a chair that was tucked in next to me and left it there. Do you know what's the funniest thing is? Can I tell you? Can I first of all tell you something, guys? Arrogance will get you nowhere in this life, okay? It will get you nowhere. Because that morning, I was sitting, chilling, like I told you. I'm there on my laptop, whatever, the kids are watching TV, chilled. A friend of my aunt's looks at me, she's like, is it today that you're leaving? I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving this afternoon. She's like, you're so calm, like you don't look like you're even traveling. And I'm like, girl, I do this all the time. I'm a seasoned traveler now, okay? Don't worry about me. And I leave my passport at the house. Arrogance, it will get you. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is, so my cousin then has to take an Uber and bring the passport to me, and so he takes this half-hour ride and I have no time to talk to him really. I'm like, oh my god, thank you, I'm so sorry, I'll talk to you later. And in that exchange of him giving me my passport, he's like, yeah, $100 later. I'm like, come again, what? The half-hour ride from my aunt's house to SFO, the half-hour ride with no traffic, cost $100, and then the ride back to the house cost $90. $190, you guys. I mean, it's the Bay Area and everything, but are you joking? Are you joking? For like an hour of drive. Oh my god. Oh my god. But in the end, I suppose, you know, like it's better than whatever I would have lost missing the flights and everything. So there you go, 6 of my top travel fails of the year. Sometimes shit doesn't work out for you. Sometimes you make a rookie mistake, whether you're a rookie or not. But hopefully you've got some laughs over here. Hopefully you've seen that there was nothing perfect about my trips. And that I really made a lot of missteps, and that sometimes I just had really bad luck, which it happens. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you've had travel fails or if you've heard of travel fails. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay golden. Bye.